I am with Min from Flower Power Frederick. Actually, I met Min at the home of everything, Frederick, one afternoon. How are you? Welcome to Good Morning, Frederick.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing super well. I'm excited to be on the show.
That's great. You came in and I think it was your first time at the shop, and we were chatting, and I found out you are now a cottage baker here in Frederick.
Yeah, that's correct. I just started in January, so really new still.
Yeah. And boy, isn't it a lot of fun though when you can kind of mix something you enjoy doing and maybe make a little money on this little side hustle and do it all from home?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that it's been amazing. It's been so interesting to kind of figure this out. I'm not the kind of person who has a business plan and does X, Y, Z. I'm just like, all right, flour power sounds great. Okay, I guess I'm making sourdough. So very much figuring it out on the fly. And it's been really cool and a lot of very unexpected things. And I've gotten to meet so many of the neighbors and just general folks around Frederick, and that's been such a highlight for me.
Yeah. Okay. So were you interested in the sourdough process before January?
Yes, I've been baking sourdough for like a few years now.
Okay.
Part of it is I can't eat processed bread. It makes me feel icky, so I've always just made my own bread.
Yeah.
Um, and someone was like, "Oh, why don't you sell it?" And I was like, "I guess I would."
And we've talked to some cottage bakers. I think a lot of us are now really looking into what's in our food and trying to control the amount of preservatives or things. I know my own family is the same. We haven't stepped into the sourdough thing because I'm still kind of freaked out about this starter that people have and you have to feed it. But I do know as well when you make your own bread, and I found a really easy 3 ingredient recipe on TikTok. Um, it tastes so much better. It just tastes better. You feel better after you eat it, and I can understand why you got into it.
Yeah, and like I agree. It doesn't have to be this complex 3-day process to make bread. It can be like I have another recipe I use that takes just a couple hours and it's super easy. I feel like as long as you're eating healthy, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah,
And it's just so hard to be able to kind of prioritize that and make time to actually make food. So
yeah.
it is good that we're starting to look into it and see what is really starting to affect us.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me about your starter. Some people name their starter. Some people have something passed down for generations. Is this something you started yourself? Your starter?
No, so my starter's name is Sylvia. She's a little sassy at times, but we kind of get each other and put each other in line.
I love it.
um, she came from actually my really good friends. I was out in New Mexico visiting, and they had started this whole sourdough process, and they'd made it, and so they sent me home with a little jar of starter on the plane, and I obviously exploded everywhere in my backpack. But but I've had it ever since, and she's been thriving, which is awesome. And it's also really cool to see that like sourdough is pretty resilient, the starter. So like, I left it for 2 weeks unfed and it was fine. I can kind of live my life and not have to have it centered around Sylvia, even though she would love
Yeah.
it if I did.
All right. So are you mostly breads and their flavors, and then we'll talk about how people can buy from you, which is obviously the most important part.
Yeah, so I do mostly breads. I do poppy seed, sesame, everything bagel, plain, chocolate chip, and cinnamon raisin. And then I also
Mm.
do chocolate chip cookies, mocha cookies, brownies, orange cranberry scones, and chocolate chip scones for now.
Wow,
And those
that's
all have sourdough starter.
great.
It, it is a lot. But those all have starter in it, so it just tastes a bit different. And very biased opinion here, but I think it tastes a lot better than the regular one.
Yeah.
And it just holds also better over time.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, how can people purchase from you?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a lot of pop ups this year. So I'll be at the YMCA every Tuesday doing their
Mm.
farmers market as well as a bunch of other ones around town. So you can probably follow me on Instagram. You can also order on my Pick Me website. So you can order to go or whatever you would like made to order.
Yeah. Do you have kind of like some other cottage bakers I talk to take orders a certain day and then deliver a certain day, or is it just kind of running for you?
It's kind of running. I think once I feel more, like capable, just a bit more in my shoes, I'll probably have a once a day pickup.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very jealous of the people who can do that. I think right now I just don't have, you know, mentally with my ADHD, I just don't have the infrastructure to do that.
Yeah, totally understood. I totally get it. So how long is the process for you from kind of start to finish?
So it takes about 2.5 days to do it, to like end up with a
Mm.
final bread product. So you starting it by feeding the sourdough, and then the next day, like you feed it a couple times the next day, just actually starting to make the bread and pull it, and then leave it for bulk fermentation, and then ferment overnight in the fridge.
Yeah, and as a cottage baker, how have you dealt with, I mean, I don't know, do you have 2 ovens in your home or just 1?
No, that's the thing. I have a regular kitchen.
Yeah, right, right.
I I was talking to my wife the other day and I was like, "Oh, what if we change our garage and like make it into a bit more of an industrial kitchen?" And she was like, "Absolutely not. That is going to
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
hard no."
yeah,
So,
yeah. So I know it's probably difficult because I know to bake and all of that, especially sourdough, has certain things that it likes.
yeah, so it's all about timing. Again, something I'm trying to figure out with my brain on how to do it the day of and the day before a market or pop up. And so there is just a lot of things going on. And one day I'm hopeful I can either rent a space if this kind of takes
Yeah.
off a bit more, or, my wife will change her mind.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that'll come soon enough. All right. In the meantime, I'll make sure your social media is on screen so people can order from you, find out where you're going to be so they can try it, and hopefully get you lots of new customers. We appreciate you stopping by Good Morning Frederick today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.